Everything inside Cynthia Marlowe's apartment was frozen in time. The TV still glowed with the last frame of a children's cartoon. Toys lay scattered on the carpet, untouched. And in the center of the room sat a stroller wrapped in plastic, sealed beneath layers of dust. When police uncovered it, they realized this wasn't neglect. It was preservation. Inside sat a small, perfectly mummified child, Cynthia's 7-year-old daughter, Lily. What drove a mother to trap her child in a stroller, lock herself away, and vanish from the world? This is the story of the Marlowe case. A discovery so unsettling that even seasoned detectives refused to forget what they saw. It began with a smell that neighbors couldn't ignore anymore. For weeks, residents of a crumbling apartment complex in a quiet Ohio town complained about a strange, sweet rot seeping through the hallway walls. It wasn't the usual scent of decay. It was something else, something cloying and persistent. Maintenance workers traced it to apartment 3B, the one no one had seen anyone enter or leave for nearly a year. The mail had piled up, the welcome mat was coated in grime, and an eerie silence radiated from behind the door. When police finally arrived, they found the door locked from the inside. The windows were sealed shut with layers of duct tape and black trash bags, blocking every trace of light and turning the apartment into a windowless tomb. The officers had to force their way in. The moment the door splintered open, the air inside hit them. It was heavy, stale, and almost oily. Dust hung in the air like a thick fog, swirling in the beams of their flashlights. Everything looked frozen in time half-eaten food on the counter. Toys scattered across the floor. A television paused on a children's cartoon, its screen casting a faint, ghostly glow. But in the center of the living room, under a plastic tarp, and beside a rusted stroller, officers found something that made even the most hardened detective take an involuntary step back. They slowly lifted the tarp, revealing the small, preserved body of a child, seated upright in the stroller, its arms folded neatly across its lap. The child was mummified, perfectly preserved, as if time itself had been stopped just for her. Forensics began documenting every inch of the scene, and the details only deepened the mystery. Nothing suggested a struggle. There were no signs of forced entry, no overturned furniture, nothing to indicate violence. The walls were covered in childish drawings, stick figures holding hands under gray, dreary skies. But in every picture, one figure was always crossed out with a thick, angry red crayon. The stroller, with its silent occupants, sat directly under a vent that had been meticulously sealed shut. Every single window was taped. Every clock in the apartment, on the wall, on the microwave, on the bedside table, was stopped at exactly 2:17 a.m. Investigators noted something else profoundly strange. The apartment showed no signs of typical decay. Fruit on the counter was shriveled and dry, but not moldy. Even the air felt unnaturally arid, as if the moisture itself had been drained from the room. When they examined the stroller more closely, they found small, deliberate offerings placed around it: melted candles, faded photographs of a smiling woman and child, and small animal bones arranged in a perfect circle on the floor. In a corner, a dusty notebook lay open. On the page, a single sentence was written over and over again, in looping, frantic handwriting. "Keep her still and she will stay forever." Records revealed the apartment was rented to a woman named Cynthia Marlowe, a single mother who had been reported missing 8 months earlier. The case had gone cold, with no leads to follow. Neighbors remembered her as quiet, almost reclusive, but deeply anxious. They recalled seeing her pushing a stroller on her rare trips outside, but no one could remember ever actually seeing a child inside it. It was always covered with a heavy blanket. Old photos found in a drawer showed Cynthia with a beautiful daughter named Lily, born 7 years prior. But Lily's school file ended abruptly 2 years ago. She was withdrawn without any explanation. After that, there were no medical records, no sightings, no trace that she ever existed. She had simply vanished from the world. As detectives dug deeper into Cynthia's background, they found recent receipts that sent a chill down their spines. She had purchased large quantities of embalming fluid, airtight sealants, and most disturbingly, children's formal wear, a small, delicate dress. The receipts stopped the very same week that neighbors first noticed the strange smell seeping from apartment 3B. Police began to form a horrifying theory. Cynthia had tried to preserve her own child's body. But why? The motive remained a complete mystery. Then came the discovery in the basement storage unit assigned to her apartment. Hidden behind dusty boxes of toys and old furniture was a small metal cabinet locked tight. Once they pried it open, they found 23 VHS tapes, each one labeled with a date. The final tape, the last one in the sequence, was marked with just 4 chilling words. "Do not wake her." The footage began innocently enough. A mother recording her child playing in the park, laughing on a swing set. The early tapes showed a happy, vibrant little girl. But as the tapes continued, a dark, unsettling shift began to unfold. The later videos showed Lily becoming thinner, quieter, more withdrawn. She was often filmed just sitting motionless in her stroller for hours at a time, staring blankly ahead, while her mother's voice whispered affirmations from off-camera. On the final tape, the one marked "Do not wake her," the child didn't move at all. She was completely still, seated in the stroller inside the dimly lit apartment. Cynthia sat beside her, stroking her daughter's hair, whispering that the world outside was too loud and too fast. She promised her she would keep her safe, keep her still. Hours passed on the tape with no motion, no sound except the low, constant hum of an old air conditioner. Then, without warning, Cynthia turned the camera on herself. Her face was calm, her expression almost joyful, beatific. She placed a hand over her mouth and whispered something that the camera's microphone couldn't pick up. Then she reached out and shut the camera off. The screen went black. Neighbors told police they saw her leaving the building for the last time the next morning, pushing the empty stroller into the dense morning fog before she disappeared completely. The coroner's report confirmed the mummified remains belonged to Lily Marlowe, but the cause of death was listed as undetermined. There were no signs of trauma, no toxins in her system, no evidence of foul play. It was as if she had simply stopped living. The case seemed to be reaching a dead end. But the real horror came days later when investigators reopened the stroller to catalog every piece of evidence. Beneath the child's seat, hidden in a hollow compartment they had missed, they found another body small, shrunken, and just as perfectly preserved as the child. DNA tests confirmed the impossible. It was Cynthia Marlowe. The medical examiner was baffled. The mother had been missing for 8 months, yet her body showed no signs of external decay. It had the same unnatural dryness, the same stillness. Both mother and child had been sealed together in that apartment, in that stroller, as if trapped together in an endless final moment of devotion and despair. The case defied all logic, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. To this day, the Marlowe mystery remains unsolved. As the forensic team did their final sweep of the apartment, turning off the lights one by one, a rookie officer swore he saw the stroller move ever so slightly in the darkness, just enough for its old wheels to creak once across the dusty floor before falling silent again. Thank you so much for watching. If you find these kinds of mysteries as fascinating as we do, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content. We'll see you in the next one.